Welcome to On the Chain.
So now I want to kind of sideline over here. This is the Federal Reserve, the Fed paper. Now they're talking about CBDCs, right? The central bank digital currency being potentially better than crypto. Okay, so here we go. Oh, wait a minute. Let's pull this up. Here we go. Let's go full screen. See if it works. Aha. Now let's hit play.
Paper on the central bank digital currency being issued at this time by the Federal Reserve, in which they say that a CBDC could offer a range of benefits and risks. Don't come to any particular conclusion about it, but they say it could offer the general public a risk-free digital money that is free from credit risk, free from liquidity risk, would not replace existing digital money, but would be an addition to it. The Fed will not proceed, as Chair Powell has said, with a CBDC without support of Congress and the executive branch, ideally with an authorizing law. Let me go through.
You know, this is important. This is really important right here. So what they're referencing here is that the Fed will not move forward. They will not move forward with a CBDC, with a central bank digital currency, without full support of Congress, full support of the executive branch. Now, as we move into 2022, we're going to see a complete departure of Congress from this administration. The writing is on the wall. We know that there's a huge number of representatives that are leaving. They're not running for re-election because they understand that you're going to see the House and the Senate be overturned. And so now when that happens, you're going to have an executive branch that really has almost no power. And so once that happens, trying to get something like this through with a CBDC is probably going to be extremely difficult to go with a digital dollar. And there's going to be, this isn't something that they roll out overnight. And I believe that, although the Fed might want to push for it, they want to push this narrative that it's better. There needs to be complete discourse over this and really dig into the reality of what it is. So let's go. Let's play a little bit more. It's not that long of a clip.
Quickly, what the paper sees as the benefits. It would provide an electronic form of central bank money to the general public, households, and businesses. Faster and cheaper payments and expanded consumer access to the financial system.
Now, it's interesting. So they try to say that it's better than crypto. But let's see if we can back up a smidge. So providing an electric form of central bank money to how right now, if your money is kind of in there in the system, it's almost digital at this point. It's not, a complete digital asset. It's not a digital currency. You're not going to have the faster and cheaper payment, faster payment. But there's still an element here where it's basically a digital representation of your fiat, and they want to do away with all fiat. So it's really kind of a disruption in the overall, idea of decentralization. So central bank digital currency, central bank. Okay. But they want to expand consumer access to the financial system. Now, that's great. Expanding consumer access to the financial systems. They could do that right now, but they don't. Through the complete decentralization, what we are seeing, and we're seeing with cryptocurrency, we're seeing that there are individuals around the world that are expanding and joining the broader economy. So anyhow, let's see if they can expand consumer access to financial system. What else? What else are they going to do here? Let's see.
System. Many, of course, are underbanked in this country. The risk, well, it could affect the financial market structure, cost and availability of credit, because it could disintermediate the banks if they did it the wrong way, and also how monetary policy works. Now,
So these are obviously risks. Can they affect the financial market structure? Cost and so how is it that if you digitize your currency, you take away paper fiat, is it going to change the financial market structure? Possibly. What are they referencing though? What do they reference as the financial market structure? The cost and availability of credit. Not sure how that's going to impact anything. I mean, these are brilliant guys here on CNBC, supposed to be, but I'm looking at it as a risk. Maybe there's someone out there that can explain why, why would the cost and availability of credit change as a risk if you're moving away from fiat to a digital representation of fiat? There's no difference. It's a digital representation of fiat. It's supposed to be one for one to fiat. If you create 100 CBDC dollars, you have to get rid of 100 paper dollars. That would be the idea. That would be the direct digital representation of the fiat. You're not going to have both fiat and CBDCs running in parallel to each other, and both have, if the whole system, let's say, had 1 million paper dollars, all of a sudden you're going to double it and have also 1 million CBDCs, and you're going to degrade the overall valuation of your dollars by having twice as many. They're gonna burn and get rid of paper. So it's this idea is the efficacy of monetary. So again, how is monetary policy? How is that going to be significantly adjusted? There's other elements that we have to worry about. What about government control and monitoring of the money you spend? Where is that as a risk? I think that's a major that's a major risk. What about having social scores like in China? There's social scoring. What's the risk of the digital yuan for regional markets? Who controls the ebb and flow? Because it's not a decentralized asset, digital asset. It's a centralized digital asset. So who's controlling the ebb and flow of that digital denomination? So the efficacy of monetary policy, what is the true disruption to the domestic holders of that digital currency? Is it the Fed that is going to have control and oversight over your individual spending, or is it the government? So, that to me is interesting because they're not addressing it specifically. And that's something that has to be addressed. Here we go.
Privacy protected,
so
intermediated.
This is good.
You don't do business.
So these are good points here. I'm glad they brought up. This is what privacy has to be protected, intermediated, and identity verified. So so they want to identify, you have to have your identity verified. So again, if you're spending your fiat, how do you protect your privacy if they're also verifying your identity? How do those two things go hand in hand?
Right with the central bank, you may do it with digital wallets and identity verified, so you can protect against criminal activity, among other things. Paper's meant to begin a debate.
So they want to protect against criminal activity. Again, whether it's crypto or whether it's a digital dollar or a fiat currency, paper dollar, how do you protect against criminal activity with paper dollars? I guess you can't. So if you move to digital, what's the difference at that point? Whether the criminal activity is being completed with a digital representation of the dollar or the paper dollar. I mean, it's just like you want to pull your hair out. It's just crazy, right? It just makes no sense. They're just putting a bunch of stuff up on the screen and making it sound good.
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.